Hey everybody, this is Eric with the Dramatic, back at you with another episode of the Backbeat. Today, I am so excited to have Rich West from Rich Raw Dog Drums with me. Rich, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Eric?
Good to see you, buddy.
Good seeing you.
So nice to have you on the show. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I appreciate everything you're doing for the community, and all these interviews and everything you do is awesome, man.
I appreciate that. And thank you too. We'll start with this. You do your Drummers to Check Out series. And I always find new drummers to go check out and support through that. Tell me how you got started doing that.
You know, actually, I just got started doing that from like researching songs that I wanted to cover. And I'd come up with songs and I'd be like, wow, this guy's good. You know, and a lot of them I'm trying to feature are, you know, have probably less than 500 subscribers, some of them less than 100. And just trying to get these people out there for all of us who want to, you know, see more drummers and expand the community a little bit, you know, and just pay it forward a little bit.
That's awesome. And I like that you and Drum Man do this too, where you'll actually say something about, you know, unique about each drummer that you're featuring.
Yes.
And I started sounding like I was repeating myself. So I was just like, look, here's the list. Go check them out. I talked enough on my channel. go watch them. But I love that you guys do that. I think it's really needed. It really is. Well, I don't say this self-deprecating, but it's more meaningful than the way that I do it.
No, the way you do it is cool, because it's just like, is like less than 30 seconds. Here's the drummers, check them out. You know, they're good. But you know, I do like to throw a little bit of that in there to say, here's what I liked about this video, or he's also got this and this on his channel, or, you know, whatever the case may be. You know, I like to just throw in those little tidbits about what I liked about either the video or the person's channel.
Yeah, it's really cool too. And it kind of gives you like a little insight into what their channel is, even before I click on the link. Yeah. Go check it out. Ooh.
Yeah, careful.
Lost my headphone. So how did you get into playing the drums? Like, I know you've done a couple interviews and have talked about this, I'm sure already, but what got you into the drums as a musical outlet?
That's fine. Probably, you know, going back to teenager years, 14, 15 years old, you know, I was a avid skateboarder, and, you know, all the kids in the neighborhood or schoolmates or whatever get together, go skateboard a ramp. And then we'd end up back at somebody's house and we'd be listening to, you know, Iron Maiden and Kiss and Judas Priest records and, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, some punk rock that we'd read about in the magazines. You know, we're from Ohio. I'm from Ohio originally. So the Midwest, you know, and the LA scene were way different. So, but getting back into it, that kind of led me into music, and then wanting to start with that same group of friends. Let's start a garage band, right? Which a lot of kids want to do when they're teenagers. So I started out playing guitar, and the drummer would leave his drums in my parents' basement where we practice. And then when we weren't practicing, I would just tinker around with his drums and realize, well, I think I like drums better, you know? So probably around age 17 is when I really started getting more into playing drums and buying my own kit and stuff like that.
Nice. Age 17. And the Ramones started, speaking of punk music, kind of just as like a, hey, let's be a band. And they didn't, if I remember my history correctly, they didn't even know. They're like, here, you try this and you try this.
Yeah, they didn't even know how to play instruments. Yeah, a lot of punk rock bands started out like that. It's like, yeah, I'll try the bass, and then they don't know any notes, you know, whatsoever. But yeah, so, and then back in the 80s, you know, watched a lot of MTV. So that kind of also drove me to see, you know, drummers like Alex Van Halen up on the screen, and Terry Bozzio from Missing Persons, and, you know, all those 80s bands, you know, Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. When the guy played Run to the Hills, I was like, how does he play so fast? And even bands like Devo and stuff like that, when they play Whip It, I was like, I want to learn that. So I think MTV, back when it was music television, really drove me to play drums too.
When it actually had anything to do with music at all?
it actually did. They played 24/7 videos.
I remember that because I remember seeing Def Leppard's Pour Some Sugar on Me video, and Rick Allen sitting behind that kit with all those pedals to simulate for his, you know, his missing arm.
Yes.
Like, that is amazing. Like, I was so drawn to that. I was like, that is so cool.
that was another band that we got into back in my skateboarding days. Mainly like the first two albums. We thought they were metal, like the first two albums, and then they kind of, you know, went to more the popish kind of rock.
Right.
But yeah, I thought they're pretty heavy back then. We used to listen to them a lot.
Gotcha. See, I got into all that stuff late. But I remember listening to Pour Some Sugar on Me on MTV, really just focused on, of course, what a great melody, and listen to the drum, you know, watching Rick play the drums. And then I remember hearing that song again as an adult and going, oh, that's what the song is about. I had no idea as a kid. I was just like, that's awesome, you know?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, what are you playing now? That's beautiful kit behind you there.
Oh, okay. So now I have a Ludwig Classic Maple, and the finish is called Citrus Mod. And then something I just recently learned was Bon E. Carlos from Cheap Trick. That was a finish that he had back in the 70s, and Ludwig reissued it. So I know I have other kits. I have 2 other Tama kits as well, but this is my latest one.
Yeah, I love that finish. I know we were talking about it before, but I'm just looking at it behind you. I'm like, man, it's so sharp looking. It's a unique finish, but it's so eye-catching.
Somebody called it the finish Clown Vomit.
Oh my.
And I've heard somebody else call it Skittles, and then somebody else called it Psychedelic Lasagna. So.
Psychedelic Lasagna. Well, the last 2 are far friendlier than Clown Vomit. Good Lord. Thanks for your feedback. That's awesome. Yeah, it sounds great in the covers that you've done with it too. I love the way it sounds.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. All right. So let's see here. So that gives us your kind of background into drums. And then I know you were in the military, correct?
Yeah. So from there, you know, tinkering around with little bands back then when I was still in high school. My brother, 3 years younger than me, he decides he wants to play guitar. Next thing I know, his friends are coming over. And I'm getting to the military part, okay? His friends are coming over, and they're wanting to jam, and they wanted me to play drums, and that was fun. And we played, you know, a couple parties and stuff like that. And then I decided I'm going to join the military after I graduated high school. I joined the Air Force. But before I went to basic training, I married a girl I went to high school with, and we got married. And that band actually played at our wedding.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep. So then I went in the Air Force. I got stationed in Fort Worth, Texas at Carswell Air Force Base. And I didn't think about playing drums, but, you know, then I got into this music store one day and it said, hey, drummer wanted for heavy metal band. And here I was in the military, Air Force, military haircut and stuff. And so, you know, back then you used to pull the number off and say, you know, they'd leave all these strips and you pull the number off. So I call this guy, and we had a lot of familiar, you know, bands that we liked. And he's like, yeah. Here's our set list. Write it down. You're not going to email it back then, right? So anyway, right. So he sends me the set list, or we talk about the set list, and I show up ready to play all these songs. And I have my drums shipped from Ohio. And so I show up and he's like, are you the guy I talked on the phone to? I'm like, yeah, because imagine they're like 80s glam rocker types, right? But they were with their hair. And here I am with the buzz cut. And so they're like, okay, whatever. But then we rocked, right? We ended up playing good. I knew all their songs and we sounded good. And that turned into a couple shows. And then I got into a band while I was in the military, my first base.
That's cool. Cause that's what I was kind of wondering, is if the military time ended up being like a hiatus, like I know it is for a lot of people. And then they get out and they kind of rediscover it, you know, as they get back into regular life. And so it's cool that you got to do that while you were in the military. Yeah,
I kind of did that, Eric. So yeah, I did that. I did have a long hiatus, first of all. But yeah, playing with that band. And then another band that was very popular back then, just playing bars, was Pantera, also from Texas. So I got to see them play dinky little clubs back before they blew up and got really popular.
Cool.
Which was, you know, you don't know how good it was then. You're like, yeah, this is a cool band, you know, and then you see how big they got. It's like, wow, you know. But another one, a story I'll tell you is I did get to play Vinnie Paul's drum set once.
No kidding.
I sure did. so our band, we were good. We were decent. You know, we played like the heavy metal covers of the day, and we had a couple original songs we threw together. But yeah, I guess some band canceled, and then they asked us to come and jam, and so we went and we opened for them. And even back then, them being just a little bar band, they had a drum tech, they had a guitar tech, and the drum tech, his name was Guy, and he said, "Don't move anything, don't mess with anything." Okay. And I was like, "Can I change the height of the seat?" "Okay, you can do that, but that's it." So,
Nothing else.
well, nothing else. You know? And then of course we had like, you know, a bunch of people that were there to see Pantera. They're like, "Who are these people?" Of course, you know.
That's cool though.
That was fun. That was awesome. Yeah.
That's a cool story. You got to play Vinnie Paul's kid. That's dope.
I sure did. Yeah, I guess after that, you know, me being in the military, and I had a wife and a 2-year-old at the time. So yeah, I kind of knew band thing wasn't going to work out. And then I got shipped to Germany. So that was it for that band. But then when I got to Germany, until many, many years later, I didn't pick up the drums again.
Okay. So then so you're in Germany, you don't get to play the drums.
Yeah.
How long was it between then and when you got out of the military and were able to play again?
Okay, probably 22 years, Eric.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. So I went to Germany in 1990, and of course drums went into storage because, you know, no place to set them up over there. And then, you know, went to several different places, you know, overseas and stateside, and just really no place to play or set up drums. And, you know, I had my military career going on. So got divorced and got remarried. And then we ended up, California in the Bay Area was my last assignment. And probably a year before I retired from the Air Force, told my wife, I'm gonna get back into playing drums, I think. And so she's like, "Yeah, let's get your drums out of storage." And oh my God, cobwebs and
oh boy, I bet.
I set them up in the garage, and I'm surprised it didn't fall apart. So we went down to Guitar Center, and I got that Tama Silver Stars kit, the brown one, the kind of cherry wood color one that you've seen in many colors. Yeah. I've had that since 2012.
Nice. That's awesome. And we were talking about this a little bit before too. What? No, hold on. It's telling me that we have a time limit.
Oh,
Poo-poo on you, Zoom.
I'll talk fast.
Yeah, no. If what we'll do, if it cuts us off, we'll just start a new meeting. Okay. So we'll see what happens. At any rate, it's never done that to me before, I don't think. But I mean, how fortunate we are to have wives that are like, "Yes, here's space for your drums." Play.
I know you talked about how Loretta is with you. I know she's very supportive. You know, my wife Minda is as well. She's very supportive of my drumming. So
that's awesome. It takes a special person to be married to a musician, but especially a drummer, because it's a much noisier venture.
This is true. You know, I mean, now I do try to time my practice times. You know, I use the drum mutes when I practice, and you know, she works in the evenings, and then okay, here's my hour or two block. You know, I can play, and I try to bother, but she comes to all the band gigs that I play and stuff. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Loretta and I actually had just started dating, like a couple days, like made it official, right? Like a couple days before opening night for this production of American Idiot that I was playing in for a local production. And so she got introduced to that, as well as theater people. And I like spent a lot of time around theater people, and they're a lot of fun. And she was like, "This is so cool. Like, I love this." And so now here where I am above everything else in the house in terms of spatially, like she says the lights downstairs like will rattle, you know, like when I'm playing.
Yeah.
And because of that, we're actually looking at here in the next year or so buying an external building and turning that into a studio so that I don't fall through the floor of this 110-year-old house. So,
oh wow.
At any rate, but it's awesome to have. When I hear somebody say that my wife supports you know, my drumming and all this. It makes me happy because I know how blessed I am to have a wife that's like that. So it makes me happy that, you know, that somebody else has that going for them too. It's cool.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. Well, that's cool. And when did you start doing YouTube? Because you were one of the earlier people I think that I stumbled onto when I started.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, moved up here. I got retired from the Air Force after 30 years, 2014. Moved up here to Washington State, and you know, after getting settled in, getting a job and stuff, I started just doing videos on Facebook. You know, and my wife would record it, kind of like yours does now, and I was like, okay, just put it on Facebook, and she would put it on her Facebook, and then other people would say, hey, Rich, you're just as good as some of these YouTube drummers I see. Why don't you put it on YouTube? And I'm like, nah, I don't know about that. Anyway, 2016, Eric, is when I started my YouTube channel. And I think my first video was Van Halen All Wait. And, you know, I know there's thousands of drum covers of that, but, you know, that was I think that was my first video. And then it just started from there.
Nice. Yeah. And your channel's been, the time that I've been watching it, it just kind of steadily is growing. And
yeah. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. You know, I'm just about 1,200 subscribers now after 6 years. And I know, you know, I just try to do things a little bit different. I think I'm just glad that people watch still, and I can have that interaction with people. Because I mean, numbers are great and everything with the likes and views, but you gotta have fun with doing your channel, right? You have to be able to have fun with it. So, you know, with my channel, I'm usually trying to do covers that not many people cover. Is what I usually try to do. If it's a song, some exceptions. If it's a song where I'm like, okay, I want to do this song, then I'll do research. And I'm like, whoa, there's like hundreds of covers of this song. What's going to be another one? So what's going to make mine special? So I'll usually pass and just look for something else, you know?
Yeah. Gotcha. That makes sense. Because you don't want to just be white noise like out there. You kind of want to have something that.
Yeah. And I know, Eric, that a lot of people do like to say, oh, I love that song, so I'm going to watch this cover. And that's cool. And you know, and I've done that a few times too. But for the most part, I'm just trying to do stuff a little bit outside the box, if you will, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what my channel's about.
That's cool. I just kind of do, like, for me, I'm like, if I like it and want to play it, I don't really put a lot of thought into what anybody else wants, because at the end of the day, if nobody watches it, I at least enjoyed it. You know? And like you said, I'm just happy that anybody cares and wants to come over and watch.
You know, and I think that's why they call it YouTube, because you're not doing it for other people. You know, you're doing it for you, right? And you know, of course, I and many others like how you choose your videos, and you a lot of times talk about how you choose your videos and why you chose that song, and that's really awesome, and I think that's pretty unique too as well.
Thanks. That's when we started it, we knew that's what we wanted to do, because like you're like, okay, what's happening out there, and how can I be different on the landscape? You know, like you're saying, I'm not going to do the covers that 300 other people did last week. I'm going to find something that's different and unique. And we were like, because I knew I was going to pick songs that just I was passionate about and wanted to play or liked playing, you know. And so that's kind of, we're like, well, maybe if we share a little bit of our story with people and can encourage, you know, and deposit hope, you know, in people's lives just by being transparent. So that's what we've tried to do. And I think that's that makes us a unique in that way too, just like the way you choose your covers and the way you do your not shout outs, but your drummers to watch videos and some of the other things that you do, the way you go back and forth between your covers there in your home and over at Echo Lake Studios, which so that makes your channel unique on a different level. Most of us are doing them in the same spot each time. How did you get into doing covers over at Echo Lake?
Oh yeah, thanks for asking. So Matt Taylor was like a pillar of the local music scene up here in Seattle area. He used to do this thing called Bandit, in which basically he'd just get a group together and say, we're going to do like a Green Day tribute show, or we're just going to do like a Van Halen tribute show. And he'd put that together. And he's also an awesome drummer, by the way. So he took 2 years to build a studio in his basement, and he's got all the state-of-the-art equipment and all that stuff. And so he just, you know, I don't know if I saw him at a show or he hit me up on text or whatever, but he said, hey, Rich, if you know anybody that wants to do any recording, my studio's up and running now. I've been working on it for 2 years, let me know. And I was like, hey, what if I made a drum cover up there? So now here's Matt. I mean, a wizard, went to school on audio engineering and all that, but never did videos before. So he's like, well, this is a new thing for me, so we'll try it. And his videos turn out great, I think. I mean,
they look great.
He puts a lot of cool effects in there, and the different camera work that he has around the room and everything. So anyway, that's how I got started with Matt Taylor up at Echolake Studios. So I've been going up there. I think I made 18 videos up there in his studio. I usually go up there maybe once every 3-4 months and do like 3 at a time, sometimes 4 at a time, and stay there for a couple hours and be like, that's great. And then I'll get the videos. He'll send them to me when he's done working on them, and then I'll kind of space those out and post them on my channel.
So tell me a little bit more about your drummers to check out, because I know that Drum Man 190 was doing that, and a lot of people credit that show for kind of some growth in their channel. Was your show or episode or series, I guess, inspired by that? I know mine was.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even before that, I've been following Drum Man's channel for probably 6 years, and he had drum cover of the week, and all this other, and it's just molded into the drummers to watch. So how I got involved with doing something like that was just from me researching other drummers and then trying to find out, oh, okay, these guys are good or whatever, and researching songs for my band and finding out, oh, these are channels that probably not a lot of people have seen, and they're good, So I knew that Matt had that drummers to watch, and I told him, I said, hey man, I'm thinking about doing this, drummers to check out. And he was all supportive. He said, yeah, absolutely. That's a cool thing to do for the community. So go ahead. So that's kind of how that got started.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think it is a cool way to pay it forward, because I feel like, I know for me, like Drum Man, featured us on his drummers to watch. And we got people started to find our channel after, so it is cool, because it's hard starting a YouTube channel. Do you think that's true, or?
Oh yeah, it's hard. I mean, I'm probably my first year, I didn't even have 100 subscribers, So yeah, it's hard because, I wouldn't say there's competition, but there's so much of similar things out there. So many drum channels out there, as you know. But as far as our community, I mean, I like it because it's not really a competition with each other. It's more like a supportive community, like a brotherhood, sisterhood kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I like it in that aspect.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's always a troll out there that's not really part of the community, but that'll be like, I had one guy say your buzz rolls need some work. And I was like, cool, what can I do? Please, help. Thank you for the feedback. Never heard from them. They didn't have any drum videos, but which is usually the case.
That's the way it always is.
But I think you're right. That's one of the things that we've loved about doing this, which we didn't know was a thing when we got into this. But this awesome community of drummers who are very supportive and encouraging of each other. And we've built a lot of really cool relationships with people. And that's been one of our favorite things to see happen. Has that been your experience as well?
Yeah, 100%. The interaction with people, and then, not just, and the supporting others is the main thing. From my experience, I mean, going back to his channel, I mean, he's, like I said, he's done this for a long time, whether it be in a different format. He also used to have these drum battles, and early in my channel, when my sound was just completely horrible, he would invite me to, hey, come and do this drum battle. Do you know this song by Foreigner? I was like, yeah, I know it. He's like, I'm going to have you battle this guy. And so, and then it would just be like all tongue in cheek and fun stuff. And then not only that, but there's other things like Michael Perry, I don't know if you're familiar with his channel, and his Drummer's Den, and he tried to set up that with little banter, between each other and stuff. So it's all fun stuff, and I also like how a lot of us keep in touch outside YouTube as well, and support each other, buying each other's merch. Like, I think I have 2 of your shirts, and
nice. I love it.
Drum Man stuff, and KM Can drums. I got one of his cups, and
Nice.
I think
And
that's pretty cool.
you bought one of our snares, which we really appreciate.
Oh yeah, I do have a Attic custom snare, which I absolutely love. You know, and it was custom made. And I don't know if everyone knows the story, but I'll tell it. And I reached out to you after seeing Joey Clark's and Drum Man. I was like, man, you're making some awesome snares. How can I get in? And you said, tell me what you want. What do you want, this or one day you want black lugs? You want, and I had to think about it for a while, but I was like, yeah. And then, you know, I knew I wanted birch wood because I think it sounds great.
Yeah, it's a good
but I remember
wood.
I said, can you give me something that has like a Northwest style flair? You know, I live in the Pacific Northwest, and what you guys came up with was so killer. I go get the snare if you want me to. I know you've seen pictures of it.
Well, I'll throw a pic. I've got pictures. I'll throw a picture up here.
Throw it up there, but it turned out phenomenal. And then, you know I told you before that I took it up to the studio at Echo Lake, and Matt, being a drummer and recording for years, he's just hit it one time with a stick, and he said, man, I don't need to do anything to this drum. It sounds great right out of the box.
I love it.
I don't have to put gel pads on it. There's no tuning required. Just put that thing on the stand and let's do these covers. Cool. And it turned out great.
I love it. I love it. I try to tune them, you know, so like all you have to do is some, maybe if you're like, this is a little higher than I like it. You know what I mean? But it's tuned well, and everything on the bottom is nice and tight, you know, and snug. So you can just tweak and start jamming out, you know, but
yeah. I like the actual snare on the bottom because you have more bands on there than a lot of other snares that I've owned. And I really like that part about it too.
Yeah. The philosophy behind it is that when you get it, I could put a much cheaper snare wire on there, but then when you get it, you'll be like, well, I like the drum, but I want, you know, like, so you don't have to do anything to it. It's got quality heads, quality, you know, hardware, quality, you know, snare wires, like everything is what I would want on a drum.
Yeah, that should be your slogan, right out of the box and ready to jam.
Hey, yeah, we'll have to work up a contract so you get a quarter every time somebody buys a drum. Like,
right, yeah.
I love it. Well, that's cool. We appreciate that. And on your last video, your picture that you had on there was like a T-shirt with you playing the drums on it. Is that an actual item that's available?
Yeah, it is now. But that was like a sample, you know, when you go on the spring tees or whatever. And I was joking with my wife. I was like, I'm buying this shirt for you and you're going to wear it around. And she's like, what is that? And so, you know, it's really just a picture of when I was playing a live show that somebody took, a professional photographer. And so she's like, okay, if you get it for me, I'll wear it. So, you know, so I did.
That's awesome.
But yeah, now it's on. Yeah, you can buy it. Yeah,
that's cool. I think one of them is going to have to end up in the drum attic. We have to buy one of Rich Raw Dog's shirts. That's awesome.
I didn't think about making shirts, but I saw, you know, others doing that, and I just was messing around with the website, and I just thought it'd be funny for my wife, but she actually was like, yeah, I'll wear it.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. So we'll definitely have to get one of those up over in here. I'll have to get on your.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a link somewhere, right?
Yeah. There is a link. And if there's not, I'll go ahead and put it somewhere.
Gotcha.
But I made another shirt, and it's really goofy too. It says Rich Raw Dog Drums, all one word, and it's got we were traveling somewhere in Washington State, and they had a Bigfoot, actually a life-size Bigfoot inside this gas station. And I took a picture of it. So now that's on a shirt. And I was like, this makes no sense. This makes no sense for my channel, but I thought it was funny and cool. So.
That's hilarious. I love it. Like, I don't know what Bigfoot has to do with Rich, but I love it. It's Bigfoot and it's Rich. It's great.
Yeah, Bigfoot. Everybody loves Bigfoot, right?
Yeah, it's in like out here, like you're in the Northwest. We're down in the Southeast. And so there's mountains, and Bigfoot is all the, you know, hide and seek champion of the world, like, and I believe, and Bigfoot.
Yeah. It's the same up here. Yeah.
I guess I'm talking with my hands.
You keep knocking out your headphones.
I do, or get some new headphones or something. Anyway, tell me about, speaking of Rich Raw Dog drums, tell me where the name Raw Dog comes from in the title.
Okay, RAW is my initials. And so, you'd like to pick on each other when you're in the Air Force and in the military, like we always do, and everybody. So I don't know how, but just one time early on in my career, just somebody, they knew your initials were Raw, and that's funny enough for some people, but they said, how about Raw Dog? Hey, Raw Dog. They started calling me that. Well, years later, it turns up in the Urban Dictionary as completely different meaning. So that's not what my channel's about. So, and that's why I had to make sure I added Rich Raw Dog Drums on there. So
Yeah.
so yeah, that's what that was about. Started my channel name handle.
Well, there's an idea for your a t-shirt too. Rich Raw Dog Drums, not the Urban Dictionary kind.
Right. Not the Urban Dictionary definition, right?
That's awesome. So when you're not playing drums, Rich, or working, what do you like to do with your spare time?
And with my spare time, I am an avid barbecue fiend, Eric. I like to barbecue, cooking, traveling, hanging out with the kids and grandkids and stuff, and that's what we ended up doing now is we end up traveling to see them, because some of them live up here locally but others live elsewhere in the States.
Nice.
So
gotcha.
yeah. Sports.
That's cool.
Love sports. Love my Cincinnati teams, my hometown teams, and we like to go to Seattle Mariner games here and Seattle sports as well.
Nice. Now, help me remember this. Well, let me give you a backstory.
Okay.
I grew up in New England.
Yeah.
So I apologize, but I've been a Pats fan for years.
Sure.
And I actually went to see them play Cincinnati several years ago, many years ago, probably 15. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Point is I was rooting for them this season. And then Loretta and I were just talking about this. We couldn't remember who won the Super Bowl. All we knew was that the Chiefs didn't. And that made us very happy. And I just lost 100 subscribers.
Yeah. You don't want to make those Chiefs fans mad.
No. But the Bengals were in the playoffs.
The Bengals
right?
were in the Super Bowl and they lost to the LA Rams.
That's what it was. That's right.
3 points.
I was pulling for Cincinnati. Because it's been a while since they've been in, so I was rooting for them.
Well, I mean, and talking to my family, we're born and raised growing up in Ohio, never thinking, Cincinnati's been to 2 Super Bowls, but not since the 80s. And so I'm like FaceTiming my mom and my brother and my other family, and we're like, is this real? Because we all kind of sit around on Sundays and FaceTime each other and and watch the game, and then it's like, is this for real? And then we're just all ecstatic, my brother's in tears and jumping for joy. Yeah, so it was exciting seeing them go that far.
Yeah.
And going to the Super Bowl is big enough, but wish they would have won, of course, but we'll see what happens next year. I know it's difficult to get back to another Super Bowl, but we'll see.
Yeah.
They got a good team.
Yeah, well, I was excited to see them go that far. I would even be really excited to see the Browns make it to the Super Bowl one year, just because I don't think they've ever been.
They have never been. Yeah, you're right.
Super Bowl. So yeah, but then after Tom Brady left New England, I kind of started to lose a little bit of interest, and I was like, oh, maybe New England has just been so exciting to watch because of Tom Brady, But I don't know. We could talk about football all night long, but
yeah.
But that's cool, and I was glad to see Cincinnati make it to the Super Bowl this year. Although I couldn't remember what 2 teams were there until you reminded me. Yep. But yep. Thank you. I was glad. Of course, I was rooting for them over the not them. Whoever was playing the Chiefs, I was rooting over them.
Yeah,
and there goes 50 more subs.
Twice. They beat the Chiefs twice this year.
Yep, that's awesome. Well, at any rate, okay, moving on from football. So that's cool.
Yeah,
Barbecue, travel, see the family. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that you guys do that. And I love grilling. I don't like the heat when it's hot out and I'm grilling, but I'm learning it. So I'm getting better at it. So I'm happy for any tips you want to throw my way. I'll say, hey, Rich, this is what's coming up in a couple weeks. I'll be like, hey, Rich, I'm making this thing on the grill. Any tips?
Yeah.
So expect a message from me on a Messenger or something.
Do you have a smoker?
I don't.
I like an electric smoker. You can get an electric smoker at Home Depot. Those are always good.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Do ribs in those, or do like a brisket or something, whatever you like.
Nice.
A whole chicken in a smoker is awesome.
Yeah, I've had a smoked turkey.
Oh yeah. I have that every Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Oh, so good. It's like even the white meat is so juicy and tender.
You're right. Yeah. It's not dry at all. Like if you put it in the oven.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's going to be an investment in our household come this fall.
That's right. And then if somebody was tuning in right now, they'd say, hey, welcome to our food channel.
Yeah, that's right. We're like, how are these guys drum channels? We were talking about football and cooking out.
Football and food. What the hell? What is this?
What are these guys doing? So bringing it back to drums.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And it's because, really, as drummers, we all do know that we obviously love drums because we wouldn't be playing them for everybody to see if we didn't enjoy doing it. So it's fun to just kind of find out little bits about the people behind those videos and the people behind the drum sets, and just kind of seeing what they're up to, because it's like, we're like, oh, that guy plays drums on YouTube, but there's so much more to what makes up Rich West, right, than just the drums. And same with me, right? And it's so cool to hear that stuff and to really get to know people. So what advice, I got 2 questions for you. What advice would you give to somebody starting to play the drums?
I would say, try to use a metronome, but you don't have to. If you have the feel, if you have any sort of rhythm, just practice. And it's just like anything. You want to practice for the game, or practice for a test. You have to put your time in to practice. You can't just expect to roll out of bed and be good at double bass, right? So any drummer that's just starting out, it might be tedious because we're in a fast society right now where everything's instant on your phone, but music and drums are not like that. You do have to put your time in.
Yeah, I agree. And I would say even if you're only able to practice 15 minutes a day, or 10 minutes a day, that's better than not practicing.
I agree. And I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like sometimes I'm practicing in my head. Like when you're trying to learn a song and you had the headphones on and you're just envisioning how the drum parts go, right?
Yes.
I'm sure you probably do that too, Eric. So, that, to me, that's kind of a practice. That's sort of practicing in itself, where you're trying to go over that in your mind. Because when we're playing drum covers, I'm telling you, that's probably more than 50% of it. Not the physical part, is the mental part and trying to remember all the parts and how they go, right?
Yeah. And then the other part is taking it behind the kit and working the mechanics of it out.
Yes, agree. Yeah.
Because where it's because of all the mental preparation you've done, listening and mapping it out in your head, then it's just, okay, now how do I apply that? And okay, that's slop for me. I'm like, oh, that fill is sloppy. I need to back that up. And I'll turn the music off and I'll just try to break it down slowly and get it to speed, and then put the music back on and do it again.
And whether you're a beginner or you've been playing for, however many years, you can always learn something. You can always improve. You can always, learn something.
Absolutely. There's always somebody out there to learn from, and there's always somebody that you could be a positive example to coming up behind you.
Yeah, that's really true. Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that makes our community here on YouTube so cool. It's because everybody runs the gamut, from beginners to intermediates, to people that have either played professionally places and have done it longer or whatever. And but everybody's so encouraging, and I know that there's some people that I could reach out to privately and go, I want you to critique what I did. I want to know how I can do it better. And they'll give me an honest estimation of it. And I think that's a really positive thing to be able to have, with a handful of people too.
Yeah. But, great.
And then kind of similar to that question, and I like to ask this one because I find the answer is very, very helpful and interesting. Somebody starting a YouTube channel, what would your advice be to them?
I would say, number one, don't start a YouTube channel unless you're doing it for yourself. Don't start a YouTube channel for other people or try to do things that you think other people want. of course, you're going to look at the algorithms when you get used to doing those things and say, maybe this didn't work out or this worked out. But when you're first starting out, just do it because you want to do it, and just do it for fun. Because not everybody is a celebrity, or not everybody is a professional where you can get 1 million subscribers or 1 million views, but YouTube is for everybody. So just take your time, and then I would just suggest just do it for yourself and do it how you want it.
Yeah, I agree. And do it with whatever gear you've got. Just start doing it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, whatever gear you got and you know how to use, especially when it comes to recording.
Yeah, that's true, because there's some people that are great audio people, but maybe haven't done video stuff. Do it anyway. Just set your phone up and video yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be like a big production. It can be like I like doing that. I like having several cameras and cutting together and throwing effects, because I have a background in film and media. So
yeah,
that's fun for me, but it doesn't have to be like that.
And see, I feel like I'm a caveman with a torch when it comes to that kind of stuff. So, I mean, and you'll see like, when I'm just practicing at home, I've tweaked the sound. I've tried to figure out where I can put the mics, the best placement to try to get the best sound. But ultimately it is that, if you will, live and raw, where it's just the music's coming from a PA and it's live drums. And there's no post mixing or anything like that when I'm playing at home. Now at the studio, of course, totally different story. But I don't, like I said, you got to be comfortable with the equipment that you have and know how to use. I mean, what you do, I would know how to do that, on my own. So that's why I reach out to people like Matt Taylor to help me out sometimes with studio quality videos.
Yeah. And that's awesome. And it's okay. Like, you don't have to be good at everything, right?
Yeah.
Find somebody that you're like, hey, that person's good at video, and I think in our community too, most people would be like, if you said, hey, what would you suggest for, this, if I wanted to do this, I'd be like, oh yeah, dude, let's talk and figure it out. I think a lot of people are like that. So.
Yeah, you're right. And I like how a lot of people, including your channel, has evolved, and it's just continuing. The quality continues to get better and better, especially with video production, Eric. It's just great, really top notch. But I mean, with my channel, I mean, of course, with a lot of people's, the first few videos, all you hear is cymbals, because you're in a room, you don't have any soundproofing, and it was. I know Earl Bennett, right?
Yeah.
So he told me way back, he's like, it's not about soundproofing, Rich, it's sound deadening. He's like, so that is very important, especially when you're playing in a room, to make sure that sound, and that without doing anything else, but like putting blankets up on the wall, I heard a big improvement. And then it evolved into getting mics and a mixer, and it's still live sound, but it's definitely evolved and improved a little bit over the years.
Yeah. And I think that's cool, because you were looking for, okay, how can I improve what I'm doing? And I think that's the mentality to always have, whatever it is you're putting your hands to. How can I make this better each time?
Yeah.
And my buddy Jordan JMS Drum says, I want each video to be 1% better than the last. So then, it's just, so there's just always this progression, but it's an easy goal to set,
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. Let me ask you one more question. And I almost forgot this, because Loretta and I were talking about what can we ask people that we've not heard anybody else ask. And she said, you could ask them a would you rather question. And I said, sweet. So would you, and of course, these are going to be ridiculous.
Okay.
Would you rather play a house kit that has, and I've seen this before, playing in churches a lot through my drumming career, with dish towels shoved under the heads and cranked down with duct tape over the snare drum, or be attacked by a bear? It's a toss-up for me.
I'm telling you, both sound horrible.
And equally as painful.
Yeah.
So you're going to call it a tie? You can't,
I take my chances with the bear, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, Yeah, I know what you mean about the house kits though. Yeah. And then so being in bands in the local Seattle area, we do that a lot. You know, we'll have like the last band that's playing will leave their kit out. Well, it's like driving somebody else's car sometimes, right? You're like, where's the lights? Where's the windshield wipers? You know, where I don't know where, you know, you're trying to feel your way around the kit and you're not really playing at your best, you know, when you're playing someone else's kit and you're not used to it. But it does save a lot of time rather than doing a full swap out of the kit between bands and stuff. I get it, but yeah, it's never fun playing someone else's kit.
Yeah, I was probably like 18, and when I was broken of the, hey, we have a good kid at our church, and I'd be like, okay, and our youth band would show up to play, and the kid is ragged out. It's not even set up like a normal drum set. The heads have holes in them, they're not tuned, and I was like, you know what, I will haul my stuff here next time. Yeah. And I did. I had a 5-piece set of Tama Rock Stars, and I feel like they're coming with me because this is, and I had only been playing for like 6 years, but I was like, this is crap. Like I cannot play on this. Not only is it like the seat's in the wrong position in a car, or you don't know where everything is, but it sounded like garbage.
Yeah, that's true. That's also true. I mean, when I started bringing my Superstars kit, then other bands would say, hey, Rich, can you bring your kit? I'm like, but we're the first band. So you want me to stay the whole time? You want me to, well, okay, I'll stay and support your band. But then, we ended up staying past midnight just so I can get my drums broken down and taken home.
Yeah, not leaving those
because,
overnight.
people know you have a nice kit and they want to play it, and there was one drummer that, their band used to jam with us a lot, on the same bill. And finally I had to ask him, do you even own your own drum set, man? And he's like, well, yeah, but it's kind of messed up right now. It's kind of broken down. So I realized this guy don't even really have a drum set. That's why I'm always having to bring mine whenever we play or, bands play together.
Like, aha, it's all coming clear now. What's happening? That's funny. It's funny. What is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to or words of wisdom you'd like to leave us with?
Oh man. So many people. I think talking to Chris from Drummer's Key, I try to list every drummer that I've made contact with in this community. So that could take hours, right? So no, I won't want to single anyone out because sometimes that's not fair. People are like, hey, I feel slighted. You didn't mention my name, Rich. And then
it wasn't really a fair question either.
Just shout out to everyone who's trying to do this, what we're doing, and please continue to grind it out and do it for yourself and make things better and give each other props, give each other feedback, because we know some of those drummers out there, they never comment on your videos, but they always want you to comment on theirs. We want to it's give and take. We want to support each other. We want to and give back and be cool with each other, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I found that I had to kind of start prioritizing like the people where there was reciprocation with. Yeah. Because I'd like be commenting on somebody's videos for like 3 months and because I want to be encouraging, but then you don't get something back, but then you've got these 200 people that are always engaging. So I make their stuff a priority. Do you know what I mean?
That's good. That's a good way to go about it. And it's hard to try to keep up with it. I honestly try to, at least thank and like and give a thumbs up for anybody who makes a comment on my channel. I try to return in, at least say thank you. But it's not always easy, right, Eric? Because you get so many sometimes.
It is. It's tough. It'll take me. I'm fortunate to have a job where sometimes it's slow and I can work on it between phone calls.
Oh yeah,
but
that's
nice.
And
it's a good problem to have in terms of having a lot of people to respond to, because again,
it is.
I'm amazed, flattered, appreciative that anybody wants to take 6 minutes out of their week and watch me play the drums. You know what I mean? Like you said that earlier. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it is. And no complaints whatsoever with anyone, wanting to comment. or like a video, I love it. It's just, we all have, full-time jobs as well. So you have to carve out that time to try to take time to respond back to people as well. Yeah.
But I think, and you're one of those people that's really good at that too. Is because we're always commenting back and forth. I might get a couple videos behind with everything going on, and I say give everybody a little bit of slack because like you said, we're working full-time jobs as well as
there's more to life than YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
So we all know that.
But I do. It can be hard to keep up with, but it is, and I appreciate your attitude about it too. It's like it can be a lot to keep up with, but it's such a good thing to have a lot to keep up with because there's such an appreciation in me for it. And I'm like, I really love those people that are taking that time. And so I try to give that back to them too, by keeping up with their content or, that kind of thing. So, it's good.
And you do really well at it too. And I appreciate
it. Man. Likewise. And thank you. I'll say thank you for all that you do for our great little community here. And it's not really little anymore. It's pretty big. And I appreciate you hanging out with me this evening and chatting with me about life and drums. It's been awesome, man.
All right. Yeah, it's definitely been awesome.
I appreciate it. Dude, seriously, my pleasure. It's been an honor to have you here. So you guys, if you haven't already, please head over to Rich Raw Dog Drums, subscribe. He's got some great videos out there. You're going to get some new drummers put on your radar. You'll be glad you subscribed. I'll put links in the description below and also I'll pin a comment so it's easy to find. But go check him out. Rich, once again, thank you, my friend, for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
You all, thanks for stopping by, and we will see you next time.